Good evening, everybody. How we doing? Good. That sounds a little weak. How are we doing? Good. There we go. Otherwise, I'll make you get up and do burpees here. So.
You're great.
Yeah, you're great. So welcome, everybody. If you're a guest, I'm Dr. Gall. I'm the founder of the clinic. If you're a patient, welcome back. So love having you guys here. Love being able to do these events. If you haven't seen LRQ, this is a life risk assessment questionnaire. Okay, if you haven't ever filled this out, this is a good place to start. The way you do that is you take a picture, take your phone, point your camera at this. It'll bring up a link, and you can click on the link, and that will take you to fill out the LRQ online, and that will kick you back a report on where you're at with some of the lifestyle stuff we're going to talk about tonight. Okay, so just as we're getting into that. So turn to the person next to you and say, no guts, no glory.
No guts, no glory.
Turn to the other person and say, bad guts, no glory. Okay, now everybody put your hands in the air and say, I got the guts. Okay, good. So we're going to get into this. Our workshop tonight is Guts and Glory. We're going to be talking about gut health and everything that really goes into it. So I opened my office now here in Brighton. It's been just over 8 years as of last month. I've been in practice now for over a decade. As you guys can read a little about who I am and what I do is. But I feel like God put me on this planet for a reason, and it's to be able to impact lives. And so when I came to this town, came to Brighton, now again 8 years ago, it was to be able to have that impact, okay? And we opened our office with the mission of being able to create a culture of health here in this community. And not just Brighton, but really all the surrounding communities, because there's so many people in this area who are maybe lost and are looking for more when it comes to our health. But the way we do that is by helping people reach their God-given health potential, okay? I always start these workshops with the foundational principle is that every single one of you guys right now has an amazing potential for health, okay? You might not realize it right now, but it's there. I promise you. It doesn't matter how old you are, what problems you have, it's in there inside of you. It's our mission in being able to unlock that, okay? It's my mission to be able to unlock that. And, whether it be, just getting people out of back and neck pain, which is kind of like the lowest common denominator when it comes to chiropractic. But it's also the other things of being able to help people to, get off their medications, to be able to reverse chronic disease, to be able to lose weight, to be able to get more energy, to sleep better, whatever it is for you and your health goals, we're here to be able to help you achieve that, okay? And so just incorporating, we do that by living the max living lifestyle, okay? And that's what that life risk assessment questionnaire is doing, is measuring where are you at in living a max life lifestyle. And if you're not living that, then obviously that's going to be some ways that are going to impact your health, maybe in a negative way. And so being able to, again, incorporate that and teach people how to do that I always say, doctor means teacher. So my job is to teach you the things you need to do to be healthy, okay? The caveat with that is always this one thing, is you can have all the knowledge in the world. You can take all this stuff in my brain and download it into your brain, but if you don't act on it, it's never going to do anything for you, okay? And so tonight, it's always about taking the action. And so when you said, I have the guts, okay, what that means is I have the guts to actually go and maybe get a little uncomfortable, to maybe do things that I've never done before with my health, and to be able to see that impact in your life. That makes sense? So if you agree to that, put your arms in the air and say, I've got the guts.
I've got the guts.
Okay, there we go. So obviously tonight we're going to be talking about the digestive system, okay, your gut. And there's so much that goes into that a lot of you have heard me talk, and we talk about all the time the most important system in your body. Well, when it comes to your health, this is your second most important system in your body in regards to how healthy you are in your overall life. Okay, not the most important in keeping you alive, I'll just say that, but is the most important in keeping you healthy on a daily basis. Okay, obviously the digestive system is composed of just a series of organs that run through your body that break down the food you eat and absorb the vital nutrients. Okay, it's made up of a tube. The GI tract is technically a tube. I don't know if you guys know this, but the GI tract is technically outside of your body. Okay, because it's a hollow tube that runs from your mouth to your bottom. And then it's impacted. It's got several other solid organs that then contribute to your digestive system, your liver, your pancreas, and your gallbladder. Okay, but the GI tract itself is your mouth, your esophagus, your stomach, your small intestine, your large intestine, rectum, all the way down into the anus. Okay, so again, top to bottom. That's the tube that's running through. Its purpose, it's got three main roles that it plays, three main responsibilities, and those are, number one is digestion, okay? Being able to take, as you take in the food, to break it down. That process actually begins in your mouth, okay? Is the moment that food hits your mouth and your tongue, okay, your body's secreting saliva. In that saliva is enzymes, and that's immediately starting to break down your food. Before you even swallow, you're already digesting food. Okay, and then it goes down the esophagus into the stomach, where it's breaking down the acid is breaking down that food. Okay, and then the second one is absorption. Okay, and that refers to basically the nutrients in your body, taking those in, absorbing them into your body. And then being able to distribute those nutrients throughout your body for your body to be able to perform various functions. Okay, and the third one is elimination, and that's really the process of taking waste, okay, taking the waste and being able to excrete it out of the body, what we call pooping. Okay, now I have to take a moment and say this is that while poop jokes are not my favorite, they're a solid number 2. I couldn't resist. Sorry. How well your body is eliminating waste is one of the biggest signs of how well your gut is actually functioning. Okay. Now I want to go back to number 2. No pun intended. Okay. Is the second function, absorption. Okay. So nutrients are critical to function, okay? Your car, is it gonna run if you don't have gas, oil, or brake fluid? Is it gonna run very well? No. It needs certain things to be able to have function, and number one is fuel to be able to go, but obviously the other components is to be able to go well, okay? And so those nutrients are critical to your overall health. That includes carbohydrates, fats, proteins. Those are the macronutrients that we receive from food, but that also includes the micronutrients, the vitamins, the minerals that, again, allow your body to function well. And your digestive system basically breaks down these nutrients and absorbs them and then uses it for the energy, okay? Proteins break down into amino acids, fats break down to fatty acids and glycerol, and then carbohydrates break down eventually into simple sugars, okay? Which is that's the most common fuel that people will use, okay? Now, when I say it's obviously critical to all function, but the gut health is critical specifically to your immune system. That's probably the most important that the gut is connected to. Immune system's interconnected with your gut. Okay, over 70% of your immune system lies right within your gut in the form of your microbiome. Okay, and your microbiome, what that is the collection of all the literally billions of cells of bacteria, of fungi, of microorganisms, all these things that are in your gut that make up the entirety of your microbiota, okay? And in a healthy gut, that microbiota is going to help to prevent infection from foreign invaders. That gut microbiota actually communicates with your immune cells, and that causes your immune cells to attack pathogens. And so your microbiome influences the susceptibility of a host as far as whether it would be susceptible to certain, diseases, immune-mediated disorders, okay? We all know those people who they just never seem to get sick, right? Okay? More than likely that's because they have a really good microbiome. They have a really good gut, okay? And so who wants to be that person? Who wants to be the person that doesn't get sick? Yeah. So this is where we got to start is by taking care of our gut, okay? But the other piece of this is the gut-brain axis, okay? They call the gut the second brain because not only is your gut, those microbiome communicating with your immune cells, it's also communicating with your brain, with your central nervous system, okay? And they're always connected physically, but also biochemically in many different ways. Your brain contains 100 billion, with a B, neurons, okay? And that communicates to your body for all your different behaviors, right? Okay, that's how we function on a daily basis, all right? Well, your gut contains about 500 million neurons, and those are connected directly to your brain through your nervous system, okay? That's also connected via neurotransmitters, okay? Neurotransmitters are basically chemicals that float around your body, and they're produced in the brain primarily, okay? And they control your emotions. They control your feelings, how your mood throughout a given day, okay? But your gut also produces neurotransmitters as well. GABA is one of the big ones, GABA, okay? It's a neurotransmitter produced in the gut, and that controls feelings of fear in the body, okay? So a perfect example of how those things function together is, any of you guys ever been nervous? Okay? No, never? Okay, well, I'm gonna have you come up here and talk. So when you're nervous, okay, what do you feel in your stomach? You feel butterflies, right? So if I say I'm gonna pick a volunteer to come up here and talk a little bit for a minute, what's going to happen? You're going to start to feel a little nauseous and get nervous, okay? Or you're giving a big presentation on gut health, maybe, okay? So now you can understand why you feel that way, is because your body's producing these neurotransmitters. Other neurotransmitters you have is dopamine or serotonin, and 70% of your serotonin is produced right in your gut, okay? So you understand is what's the big, of course now they're realizing that it was a big lie, but what was the neurotransmitter, serotonin, that they linked to what condition? What condition did they link it to? The people would take these drugs and it was supposed to affect this. It was antidepressants, so SSRIs, okay? They link to serotonin, but what they're finding now is that lack of serotonin doesn't necessarily cause depression, okay? But that serotonin can definitely affect your mood, okay? So we have to understand is, okay, how does this get disrupted? Okay, what are the problems that we can run into with the gut? And there's a few of them. So the first one that we run into is dysbiosis, okay? So its understanding is that microbiome is so important, okay? But a healthy microbiome has a balance. It has more good bacteria than it does bad. So we need the gut-friendly bugs in our gut to outnumber the bad ones, okay? The bad guys. But unfortunately, due to factors like poor diet, high stress, environmental toxin exposure, most people's microbiomes are shot, okay? They're completely overloaded with potentially dangerous pathogens, bacteria, fungus, yeast, that we carry around, and the more we have of those things, the more likely we are to get sick, and especially if we're lacking diversity in the healthy, in the good bacteria, okay? And so in that case, your microbiome is going to suffer. And so beyond just the the food and those things that we talked about. Other causes is a lot of times medications that can throw this off. Okay, antacids, H2 antagonists, antibiotics. Okay, but antibiotics is like setting fire to your entire garden to get rid of the weeds. Okay, you're killing all the good with the bad. Doesn't make sense, right? Okay, so antibiotics can help, but they also will weaken your immune system in the long term because they're killing all the good bugs too. Okay, food intolerances, NSAIDs, infected foods. So, if you have any parasites from bad meats, or if you've ever eaten like game meats that weren't cooked properly, those can infect your body with parasites and can cause a dysbiosis, basically an abnormality of the gut. And that can show up as, again, many different things, but one of the most common is small intestine bacterial overgrowth. Okay, the primary population is the bad guys of this is like things like E. coli or bacteroids. Okay, some symptoms of SIBO is watery stools, audible abdominal sounds, flatulence, milk intolerances, negative GI workups, poor response to symptomatic therapies. So when you're trying to treat it and you have a poor response to it, those are some ways that it might mean that your gut is disrupted. Okay, beyond that of like upset stomach, fatigue. Okay, skin problems. Okay, this is a really personal one to me. Is our son when we adopted him, and so part of the regulations is you have to do shots. You have to do all shots with it. And we took it very easy. We spread them out and tried to prevent overload because there's so many different toxins that go in those things. But after we started doing that, as we noticed, he started getting sore. It started with a sore on his shoulder, and it got bigger and bigger, and then it went to different areas, and come to find out that was eczema. Okay, he developed severe eczema, and it got to the point where almost his entire arms and legs were completely covered in sores and red, and he would literally scratch himself bloody trying to itch these things. And as a parent, watching him suffer like that is just miserable. Okay, but it started after these things. But what we've very quickly realized is that one of the prime symptoms of gut problems is skin problems, is skin issues. Eczema being one of them. It means that there's an imbalance in your gut that is causing, it's basically leaching out of your skin. Okay. So when you have those things, or you have any other skin conditions that are chronic, those are signs that your gut is out of balance. Okay. Unintentional weight changes, food sensitivities. As we were going through this process of trying to heal him, we realized is that he had major food sensitivities. It happened to be the foods that he was eating right around the time that we're doing shots, things like avocados and eggs and bananas. So unfortunately, we had to take all the foods that he loved the most, and he can't have those, okay? Because if he has them, he'll have another breakout, okay? But food sensitivities is another sign that you've got gut issues. Okay? And there's a lot of people who deal with those things and have never actually looked into food sensitivities and how that might be affecting the gut. Okay? But obviously digestive issues, that's just globally what we're looking at. Sleep problems, bloating, all signs that you've got overgrowth of the bacteria in your small intestines. Okay? One of the other problems, most common, and a lot of people have probably heard about this, is what's called leaky gut. Okay? And so inside our gut, obviously, like we said earlier, one of our primary functions is absorption. Okay? So in order for our gut to be able to absorb those nutrients, there has to be pathways for those nutrients to get into our body. Because like I said, the gut, the GI tract is outside of our body, so there's got to be a pathway into the body. And so your intestinal lining has over 4,000 square feet of surface area. Okay? When it works properly, it acts as a barrier. It takes in the good stuff, keeps the bad stuff out, right? Okay? To be able to absorb those in the bloodstream. However, is when you damage your gut and you do it for a long time, those openings get bigger and bigger and bigger, and that causes increased intestinal permeability, which means stuff that should not be getting into your bloodstream does. Okay? And that can cause a reaction in your body what some people would label as an autoimmune reaction, your body's immune system attacking itself, is because those things are getting through, and it allows bacteria, toxins to enter our gut. Okay, that's what's called leaky gut. That's what leaky gut is. Okay, it's letting stuff that should not be getting into your body into your bloodstream and causing a reaction. Okay, because your body recognizes those things as this should not be in here, and so it's going to cause your immune system just continually fire and flame. And of course, what that does is that alters your gut, and that leads to inflammation. Okay. And inflammation, a lot of you heard me say this, is inflammation is the cause, it's the underlying cause of pretty much all chronic diseases and pain that we face here in the United States, okay? Which over half of Americans, over half of the people here in this room, over half the people out in our community are dealing with chronic health conditions, okay? And so inflammation within the gut can be responsible for a lot of those diseases. But again, most of the time, it just never gets looked at, okay? And so some gastrointestinal warning signs. Let's talk about some of the issues, things to watch out for, okay? Number one, it's the understanding is that what goes in, okay, must come out, right? Okay? So how effective the elimination phase of your digestion, again, is one of the most effective warning signs of gastrointestinal issues, okay? So what does that mean? Because it means we need to check our poop, okay? So that's one of the most effective ways is to check our bowel movements for a few factors, okay? Frequency, consistency, and color, okay? Now I feel like this is a perfect time for another poop joke. Who's ready for it? Nah, they stink. So those are our three things: frequency, consistency, color. Okay. What's that? Yeah. Yep. Dad jokes. He's got to live with those for the rest of his life. Sorry, you're stuck with them. So those three factors, kind of breaking it down. So number one, frequency. So think about it. How many of you eat every day? How many you put food in? Okay. So it makes sense that how often should stuff be coming out? On a daily basis, okay? If not, multiple times a day, okay? That might seem extreme to some people, but frankly is eating every day and, obviously multiple times a day and then only having a bowel movement once a week probably isn't very good for you, right? Okay? So that's number one. If you're having less than one a day, we might have some issues, okay? Number two, consistency, okay? There is a normal consistency for our poo, okay? Our stool, it should be formed. It shouldn't necessarily be runny. It shouldn't be difficult to pass, okay? This chart can kind of help you understand a little bit better as far as what's normal. So we have, on the front end, type 1, 2, even somewhat into 3 is these are a little bit more difficult to pass, okay? So our goal should be right around, type 3, a little bit, type 4 into type 5, okay? There's some consistency to it. Type 4, a smooth, soft sausage or snake, or soft blobs, clear-cut edges, again, easy to pass, okay? And then, of course, you have on the other end, you have very runny. The reason that we have those is, when we have the hard lumps or the hard stool, okay, that means your body is absorbing too much. It's sitting in there too long, so it has too much time to be able to absorb fluid, to absorb the water back into your system, okay? Because your body actually absorbs water back into your system in the colon, okay? It has too much time to do that because stuff is not coming out, okay? So it becomes hard, okay? It gets that cracked, okay? And eventually turns into little lumps, okay? However, is on the other side, on the other end of the spectrum, is if stuff's moving through too fast, you're not going to have time to absorb the nutrients that you need, okay? So you can become nutrient deficient even though you might be taking all those nutrients in because it's passing, through, in and out, and then it's gone, okay? So that's the other thing. And then when we look at color, okay, brown is normal, okay? Yellow, it can be caused by certain foods, or it could be a sign of that there's an infection, or it could be some gastrointestinal, a reflux disease, gastroesophageal reflux disease, okay? White is not normal. If you have white stool, that's more than likely caused by a lack of bile, which means you either got pancreas, liver, or gallbladder issues, and that's a severe problem, okay? Green could be eating lots of greens, but also could be a sign of bowel disorder, food poisoning. Those are some signs. Black could be if you're having like one of our detox, if you're taking our detox and we have the activated charcoal, that can create a black, or if you eat my dad's cooking, so burnt, that might be another way because you're getting lots of charcoal that way too. Or that could mean that there's constipation or bleeding in the upper GI tract, in the small intestine, or in the upper colon, okay? Red, bright red stool, you're either eating lots of beets or tomatoes or chili pepper, or you've got bleeding in the lower intestinal tract, the lower colon, which again, that's gonna be a major issue, okay? So understanding where we're at within those is, again, that's gonna help determine is where you're at within those, okay? And then, even just the normal other things that you can look at is if you're experiencing bloating, constipation, diarrhea, pain in your abdomen, nausea, or if you're having infrequent bowel movements, all signs that you got gut issues, okay? So those are the problems we have to understand is how do we reset the gut, okay? We have to reset it. We have to get it to start healing. And so, in a Max Living office, this is where we looked at the 5 essentials, okay? For those of you who've been around long enough, you've heard me say it over and over again. For those of you who are newer, we call them the 5 essentials for a reason, is because they're what? Essential. You need these things to be healthy, okay? And those essentials that we teach here in Max Living is core chiropractic, nutrition, mindset, oxygen and exercise, and minimizing toxins. And what I was talking about earlier is seeing people achieve that level of health that we have, okay? It comes down to living these 5 essentials and applying them then in our life, okay? So it makes sense. It's the same way that we're gonna heal our gut. It's the same way with everything else, is we're gonna get the body healthy, okay? So the first one we look at is gonna be our food, okay? Processed foods one of the biggest hindrances to optimal health, okay? So you have to get quality, whole foods to fuel your body and get effective function, right? So we gotta get good fuel in, okay? If you're putting diesel fuel into a dirty fuel into a premium car, that car is not gonna run as well as it should. Same with your body, okay? We gotta put the good stuff in. So the top 5 gut healing foods, these are the foods that you wanna get lots of, is if you're maybe struggling with your health, is number 1, healthy fats, okay? Unfortunately, one of the biggest detriments to our health as a country was way back in the 60s when they started saying that low-fat and no-fat diets were the way to go, okay? Because what happened is after that is rates of heart disease and cancer and chronic disease started to skyrocket. Things like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, we've now seen those just continue to go up and up and up, okay? And they said fat was like the worst thing you could have. In reality, that's actually the opposite. Fat is one of the most important things you can do to have a healthy body, okay? The trick is getting the right types of fats, okay? Specifically, fats like omega-3s, okay? Fats like coconut, which is a saturated fat, and they would tell you don't eat it, okay? That's actually the opposite, is you wanna eat lots of those things. You wanna eat lots of avocados, okay? You wanna eat lots of fish. You wanna eat lots of chia seeds, flax seeds, hemp seeds, all great sources of omega-3, okay? And if you're not eating lots of those things, then you need to be supplementing with healthy fats, okay? Number 2 is probiotic-rich foods. Foods that have good bacteria in them, okay? Things like kimchi, sauerkraut, kefir, all these foods that kind of have somewhat of a sour taste to them, that's because they are fermented foods. Okay, they have those good bacteria growing in them, and when you eat those, you're getting that good bacteria into your digestive system as well. Okay, so maybe tonight, tomorrow night try including sauerkraut into your dinner, or choose kefir, which is a cultured goat milk, which is a healthy gut boosting drink. Incorporating those into your diet. Bone broth. Okay, bone broth is an amazing food for your gut. Okay, some people will do, when they're having lots of gut issues, they'll do a bone broth fast, and they'll literally have nothing but bone broth, because when you cook meat for a long, slow time, those good bacteria start to grow in there, and so homemade broth is the most beneficial. So going to the grocery store and picking up those little cartons of bone broth, that's not necessarily the way to go. Is making it on your own is the best way. And it's really simple. Is just go online, find a recipe for homemade bone broth, and whip it up and be ready in no time. Okay? It's very nutritious. It's a powerful food when used correctly for intestinal healing and aids in digestion. Okay? Antioxidant-rich berries. Okay? So we eat all these foods, especially when it comes to processed foods that are oxidants, that basically will, that cause inflammation and free radical damage in our body, and they're going to cause inflammation in general, okay? But antioxidants help to combat those, and they help to take care of them so that they don't cause damage, okay? But the good thing about berries is they have the antioxidants, but they also have large amounts of fiber, which is obviously critical to optimal gut health, okay? And fiber helps to support regular bowel movements, helps move stool out, okay? Now, the caveat with that is, especially when I was growing up, they had, what did they use for nutrition guidance? They had the food pyramid, okay? What was the base of the pyramid, the things you were supposed to have the most of? Yeah, grains, carbohydrates, okay? Breads and they said as well, that's because that's where the fiber comes from. Okay? But what they forgot to account for was the fact that those breads and grains come with all sorts of other things that cause more detriment to your health than the benefit they're actually going to get. And so you want to get the fiber from things like your fruits and vegetables that are going to be much more beneficial to your body. Your body can actually use them because they have prebiotics. So we've all heard of probiotics, right? The good bacteria, putting good bacteria in. Prebiotics is probiotic food. That's the stuff that your probiotics are going to eat. So those vegetables have lots of those things that are going to make sure that your gut's going to stay healthy. Okay, ginger. Okay, ginger, potent anti-inflammatory. It's something I recommend that people, if you do smoothies, put a little bit of ginger in there. That can help fight inflammation all over your body, but specifically in your gut. Okay, it contains gingerol, which is that anti-inflammatory property. Okay, but it's been shown to help digestion. Okay. When you have upset stomach, what do they tell you? Is have a little ginger, have a little slice of ginger there, okay? And the great thing is when you add it to your foods, it can make things taste much better, okay? So blend some into smoothies, or just put a little ginger, especially if you have some like a stir fry or something, put some ginger on there, and that's great, okay? So those are the foods that we want to get lots of, okay? But again, the key is we have to reset the gut. We have to heal the gut in order to be able to come back from these things, okay? And so in order to do that, we have the 3 R's, which are the 3 phases that when combined and taken step by step is what's going to help to improve your gut and to heal it, okay? The first one is remove, okay? So we have to remove the harmful critters that have taken over in your gut. We have to remove the bad bacteria, okay? During the remove portion of gut health, this is basically taking out the bad bacteria and the things that are going to feed the bad bacteria and the parasites. And if you have, again, any individual signs of that, it could be discovered in a GI effects test. You can take those things. But removing the food sensitivities by an elimination diet, because you got to take out all the bad stuff, give your body a chance to heal and recover, okay? Including getting rid of the stress and getting rid of some of the medications and the NSAIDs that are causing disruption of your gut. Okay, so that's number one. Number 2 is repair. Okay, once you get rid of the stuff that's causing the damage, you have to repair the damage. Okay, and you have to go and heal the gut lining that's been damaged for some people for decades. Okay, and that's created that leaky gut. And you repair that mucosal lining of the gut, and this is critical so that once you start putting in the good bacteria, it doesn't just cause more problems. It doesn't go right back to where it's supposed to, because if you don't heal it, it's just going to go right back once you start adding some of the bad things back in. Okay, or even not even the bad things, adding some of the the moderate things that you can have in moderation. Okay, and so this is replacing the digestive enzymes, replacing the betaine, HCl, hydrochloric acid, and the bile salts, the things that are going to help your body to be able to digest the food. Okay, and the third piece of this is re-inoculate. Okay, so we gotta get all that good bacteria in, again, especially if you've taken antibiotics, or if you've taken especially multiple antibiotics over the course of even years. Is your gut microbiome so out of balance, you got to put the good stuff back in. Okay, you got to replace it in your gut, because until you do that, there's nothing that's going to hold those bad bacteria at bay. It's going to be able to keep them under control. So that's how we have to be able to do that, is get the good bacteria in to be able to keep those under control. Okay, and you got to make sure it's a quality absorbable probiotic. Okay. So really, when it comes down to is beyond just the food portion, is we also have to supplement, okay? Because short of you doing a bone broth fast for 3 weeks, which I don't recommend, because you're basically gonna be starving at that point, okay? It will rest your gut, don't get me wrong, but you're gonna be starving at that point, okay? Is we have to be able to supplement to help our body along that path, okay? So when it comes to it, is the remove portion, that's where we recommend Max GI, okay? Because Max GI has cloves, it has digestive enzymes. Things are going to go in, they're going to attack and take out. It got essential oils, things are going to take out the bad bacteria and get rid of them and give your body a chance to start recovering. Okay. The second piece of that, the repair portion, is digestive enzymes, because we got to put those back in. We've got to make sure your body is digesting well and make it as easy as possible to digest. So we got to put digestive enzymes in. Okay. And then gut renew powder, which is going to that's going to actually help repair that endothelial lining. Okay, it's going to give the body the nutrients it needs to be able to start repair, the building blocks basically to repair the endothelial tissue. Okay, and then the third piece is a re-inoculate. This is where you take probiotics. This is where you're taking the probiotics to reinforce that. Okay, but you want to take in those steps, the Max GI, then the digestive enzymes, gut renew powder, and the probiotics 50 billion. Okay, and here's the thing: is digestive enzymes and probiotics, those are things that I take on a regular basis anyway, just to be able to make sure that I'm keeping my gut healthy as possible. Okay, because again, the easier it is for your body to digest food, the easier it is for your body to be able to repair and pass food.
Do you take them all at the same time, or do you take them in a step?
I would take them in a step.
How far apart?
So I would do like maybe a couple weeks of the Max GI to start that removal process. Okay, and then do a couple weeks of the digestive enzymes, gut renew powder, probably even longer than that. And then on the back end, after a couple weeks of doing that, but still doing the digestive enzymes and the gut renew, then adding in the probiotics.
Okay, and then if you're on antibiotics at the time, do you start this or wait till you're done with the serum?
I mean, you can start it, okay? However, don't start taking the probiotics until you're done with the antibiotics, because otherwise you're just going to kill them as soon as you take them in. So, doesn't make sense to, I would use the same example as if with detoxing, okay? There's really not a ton of sense in detoxing your body if you're putting the toxins just as fast back in, okay? So, if you're killing the bacteria, the good bacteria, before it's actually getting a chance to get a foothold, there's no point. So you would wait until the end.
Max GI, it kind of helps.
Yeah, it's gonna start that process, start the process of healing, even as the damage is, maybe being done to your gut, your microbiome. It's gonna start repairing at least the tissues around there and making things easier for digestion. Okay, that make sense, everybody? Questions with that? Okay. So that's a piece. The next piece is exercise and gut health. Okay. And I know this is everybody's favorite is exercising. Okay. But one of the biggest factors that can, again, cause damage to your gut is toxins. Okay. And so is one of the best ways you can help your gut is by detoxing. Okay. Well, what's one of the best ways to detox? Sweating. Okay. What's that? Glistening for the ladies. Glistening for the ladies. Okay. Is when we exercise, we sweat. Okay. Sweat helps to remove toxins out of your skin. Okay. Which in turn is going to help support healthy gut. Okay. So the best way to do that is to incorporate high intensity exercise, short duration exercise as well, in your workout routine, into your lifestyle, and that's going to help you to be able to get a sweat. Okay, and in Max Living we call that Max T3. Okay, which is high intensity. The T3 stands for time, tempo, and type. Okay, short time, high tempo, and complex type movements. Okay. Now, for those of you who might be a little standoffish when it comes to exercise, your intensity might look different than anybody else's. Okay? When we work with the Olympic wrestling team, their intensity is extremely high. Okay? If you're in your 60s and have had a hip and a knee replacement, and you maybe struggle to walk around, your intensity is going to look a lot different. Okay? Or maybe if you've never really worked out consistently, your intensity is going to look a lot different. So it's finding your intensity, finding modifications for your ability to work out. That's what we're going for. Okay, and the great thing is, doesn't matter where you're at. There's always things you can do to be able to improve your health. Okay. Like I said, the other piece of this is toxins. Okay, toxins have a direct impact on your overall health, not just your gut, really everything. Okay. So some of the biggest gut-wrenching toxins that we run into is things like household cleaners, okay, processed foods, okay. Obviously that's a big one. People understand that. For the ladies, cosmetics, okay. They found that almost 90% of cosmetics out there for ladies, like makeups and those things, have lead in them, that have cadmium, have arsenic, have these really heavy metal toxins, okay, in that basically are absorbed through your skin when you put these things on, okay? And there's some ladies out there, they wear these things every single day, and there's those ladies who literally just cake those things on, and there's no way for their skin to breathe, so there's nowhere for those toxins to go but in, okay? They go inside, okay? Environmental is, frankly, we're all exposed to toxins. The air you're breathing right now, when you step outside, when you go into your home, the water you're drinking, those are all having an impact on your health. Okay, they're all causing toxicity. Okay, even like I said, the water you're drinking, if it's got fluoride in it or chlorine, those are both known killers of microorganisms. Okay, they're going to kill things. Okay, so it's going to wipe out your gut. And then, of course, smoking, that's obviously, everybody knows that that's going to be very harmful to your body, okay? But that's going to kill your gut, okay? So we got to be able to remove those things. And not just remove them, at a certain point, we're going to have to go in and detox, okay? You got to be able to get those toxins out of your body because they accumulate, okay? Every day that you're not detoxing, your toxic bucket is filling, okay? And eventually, when that bucket overflows, that's what we call disease. That's what we call sickness. That's what we call symptoms. Okay, those are your body saying is, I can't take it anymore. You need to make a change. Okay, so checking your home. This is another great way to be able to help this. Okay, so one of the best ways to do this is to be able to just look at the products that you're buying at the store to see how toxic it is. Okay. And this is a lot easier than you guys think, okay? So if you're taking notes, write these down, okay? Number one is the EWG, okay? The EWG, they have an app. And on this app, You can literally go into the app. All you gotta do is search EWG, you're gonna find it, okay? On this app, you can type in the products you're using, whether it be household cleaners, whether it be your shampoos, your personal care products, your toothpaste, your soaps, okay? You can type those things in and it's gonna give you a grade as far as whether that's good for you or not, okay? So you can literally type in Clorox bleach. I did that today. I just typed in Clorox and all I got was D's and F's, okay? It's not good for you, okay? The other app that you can use is called the Think Dirty app, okay? And this is more for your personal care products, okay? You can literally look up your personal care products that you're using and it's gonna give you a score from 0 to 10 and it's gonna tell you how good or bad that product is, okay? So you don't have to guess. Like, you don't have to look at the label and be like, I don't know what these chemicals are. They will literally tell you what these chemicals are, what they're doing, and how they're gonna affect your body, okay? So download those apps on your phone, take them to the grocery store next time you're buying product, and switch to more natural stuff because it's gonna be so much better for you. It's not gonna kill your gut, okay? The other piece of this is we have to look at is kind of the mindset portion of this, is stress and gut health, okay? Because like I said, stress is gonna kill your gut, okay? A healthy stress response your body's going to be able to tolerate those things, but when you're chronically stressed, when you're always stressed and always running and doing all these things and always feeling anxiousness, okay, that increases fluid secretion in the gut. It increases motility, okay? This is why when you're stressed out, you might have more bowel movements, okay? Is because during a stressful time, things are passing through. Your body's releasing more of those fluids. And then, of course, the other factor with that is stress impacts your hormones. It impacts cortisol, causes your body to release more cortisol, which not just causes fat accumulation on your body, but it also is going to disrupt all of your other hormones, okay? So we have to have that healthy stress, and you also have to find ways to manage your stress, okay? Really the biggest thing is not just, being able to prevent stress, is just managing it. And we don't want to heal from the stress, we want to just keep it at a minimum, right? Okay, everybody take a deep breath. And breathe out. Don't you feel better? Already, okay? That's simple as that, managing your stress, okay? The last piece of this really goes back to what we talked about earlier, as I said, is the gut's the second most important system, okay? Well, that means there's one more important than that, okay? And really it starts with the idea that structure of your body dictates function, okay? Structure dictates function, okay? So when it comes to your gut, if you've got bad structure, if you've got damage in there, that's gonna create bad function, right? Okay? Well, the other piece of this really goes back to that most important system in your body, okay? Anybody know what that system is? Your nervous system. It's your central nervous system. That's the most important system in your body, is for your brain to be able to send messages down the spinal cord, out the nerves, to every single cell, tissue, and organ inside your body, okay? It's the only way that we are alive right now is because of that system, okay? I chop your spinal cord at the top, what happens to you? You're dead, like that, okay? Everything stops, including your gut, including your heart, including your lungs, okay? Well, since that system is so important, we have a spine to surround or protect that, okay? So, while yes, in the technical sense, the nerve system controls all function, also in the way is your spine controls all functions in your body as well, is because the spine's job is there to protect, okay? And when your spine is in alignment, which from the front your spine should be straight up and down, and from the side it should have 3 curves back and forth just like this, okay? When your spine is in that position, communication from your brain gets out at 100% and your body's gonna function how well? 100%, right? It's gonna work the way it's supposed to, okay? But when the spine becomes misaligned and the spine starts to create pressure and damage on your nerve system and starts to cut off that communication, is your body going to function the way it's supposed to? No, it cannot. That's what's called subluxation, which is the misalignment of the spine and blocking proper function in your body, okay? And so that subluxation will lead to degeneration in pretty much every single area of your health and of your body, okay? Depending on where the subluxation, depending on where the damage is happening, okay? And so it's more than just, your spine is more than just your back hurting. It's so much more than that. It's about your entire health, okay? Because the nervous system controls everything, okay? And so is the most important way to know how healthy your nervous system is an x-ray, okay? Because an x-ray tells you the alignment of the spine. That's the only way to know if your nerves have damage or to know what's causing damage on your nerve system, okay? Is to have a structural x-ray done in your spine to find areas of misalignment, to find areas of arthritis, to find areas of degeneration. That's the only way, okay? But unfortunately, damage can be going on for years and years and years, and you can feel absolutely nothing, okay? Because, number one, you have to lose 40% of function in your body before you would ever start to feel any symptom, regardless of what system that is, whether it be your heart, or your lungs, your digestive system. 40% of function, okay? But the other way, and again, this is how most people figure out if they have back problems, okay, is they start to experience pain, okay? But pain only accounts for 6% of your nerves, of the spinal nerves. So 94% of the time, if you've got a pinched nerve in your back, you're gonna feel what? Nothing, okay? But thankfully, is when we do see these symptoms, we can be able to detect them and start to say is, hey, maybe there's problems going on. So the things that we look at is, of course, neck and back pain, okay? Headaches, okay? High blood pressure, high cholesterol, okay? Thyroid issues, gut issues, digestive problems, okay? Allergies, asthma in kids, chronic ear infections, hormonal imbalances, okay? These are all signs of a poorly functioning body. And like I said, they're really just your body trying to get your attention. ADD, ADHD in kids, okay? Depression, which again is going to stem back to a poorly functioning body, a poorly functioning nervous system, okay? So when you see these things, the first thing you need to do in order to help address them is you need to figure out what's the cause, okay? And the best test to be able to figure out what's the cause is what? An x-ray, okay? So if you're a guest here and you've never had an x-ray done on your spine, that's your first step. Before you make any of the other changes, that's your first step in being able to have a structural x-ray done on your spine to know where there's damage in your nerve system, okay? And to allow your body to be able to heal and function. Because if I go in and feed your body amazing fruits and vegetables, organic fruits and vegetables, but you've got damage in the nerves going to your stomach and to your small intestine and your colon, is your body going to utilize those the way it's supposed to? No, it cannot, okay? And so making sure it's properly functioning before you get into really looking at the other things. So that's the first step, is knowing how well the nervous system is functioning, and then it's going back into healing the gut, and of course removing, repairing, and re-inoculating, okay? So with that, and if you're a guest here, again, if you've never had that testing done, I make it really simple, is we do all the testing, including the x-rays, for $40, okay? $40 covers the entire first visit. On your way out, stop and see Larissa or myself, and we'll get you scheduled for that appointment, okay? Literally is $40 when all that testing, normally x-rays, you're looking at hundreds of dollars, okay, to be able to have that testing done in our office. Since we still try to keep it very cost effective for people, you're looking at $130. But like I said, is when we do these events, we do it for just $40, okay? Or if you have family members who have never had that checked, $40, okay? You can get them set up, okay? And the good thing is all this month is, if you take advantage of that, you do those, is that $40, what we're doing is we're using this as Teacher Appreciation Month, and we're actually taking that money, we're donating it to the teachers here in our community, so that they can buy school supplies for their students, and as they go through projects, obviously they spend lots of money out of their pocket trying to pay for those supplies. So we're going to be able to help them with that all this month. Okay? So like I said, that's your step 1. Step 2 is go and heal the gut. And then step 3 is make sure you don't damage it anymore. Okay? So I want to finish and share with you guys some of the things that are coming up. Because obviously, what I always run into is the people who've never had testing done, they have no idea, and they're like, man, so-and-so should have been here, so-and-so, my friend, my coworker, they need to hear this. They're dealing with all sorts of back pain or all sorts of digestive issues. They need to hear this stuff. The perfect opportunity for them is, because they couldn't make it tonight, is we're going to do what's called our community dinner, or another term we use for it is dinner with the doc, okay? And it's going to be based on gut health, okay? So even though they missed it tonight, they still have a chance to learn these things and start applying it for their life, okay? And so I make it really simple, is those people, what you do is you say, hey, I want to take you out to dinner, okay? You don't tell them that you're not actually taking them out to dinner, okay? Because what's going to happen is I'm going to take them out to dinner, okay? On August 22nd is I've got already reserved at Bison Grill down in Buffalo Run, down in Commerce City, off of Chambers and 112th, is I've already got the room reserved. And you and anybody you bring with you, I'm buying dinner for you guys that night, okay? And I'm going to give a recap of some of the stuff we're talking about tonight. And basically, they're going to be able to learn these things and start applying them in their life as well, okay? Because everybody needs to know this, okay? And it's completely free for them to come to, but it's just a way for them to learn more and more and to be able to be proactive about their health, okay? So how do you get signed up for that? Is talk to Larissa, okay? She will give you an invitation. You can take a picture of that invitation. You text it to them, say, hey, I'm taking you out to dinner. I'm taking you to this event. Or you give them that invitation, or you just say, hey, meet me at Bison Grill, 7 o'clock on this day. Make sure they're there. But this is a reservation-only event. So make sure to let us know that you're bringing them and how many people you're bringing, okay? And I don't care if you bring 1 or 20, okay? I'm paying for everybody that night, okay? I promise, okay? The other way is to really get engaged is to connect, okay? The way you can do that is follow us on Facebook. So we've obviously been posting stuff, helpful tips on gut health, on how to be able to make sure you're staying healthy, okay? Stay informed. So all you got to do is go to facebook.com, search Essential Fam Chiro. That's gonna lead you to us, okay? You'll be able to see our building on the picture there. Follow us, like our page. You can also follow me at Dr. Marcus Gall, or at facebook.com/healthybrighton. You can follow us, and we'll also do stuff on there as well, okay? So with that, thank you guys for coming tonight. God bless you. Have a wonderful evening.